So we are here on the saving cookies portion of the lesson series, and the first thing that we need to do is add a form below the cookies per second div box. But before we do, I just kind of want to wrap up what we have so far. And so this is what we have. Oh, hold on. Okay, this is what we have. And if I go ahead and put in the right credentials, then it will let me in. It will print my name at the top of the cookie, and if I click on the cookie, the number of cookies will go up. And if I go ahead and buy a building, you just bear with me while I accumulate enough cookies to buy a grandma, then you could see my cookies per second goes up, which automatically increases the number of cookies I have, right? So what we want to have is something like this, right? So I go ahead and log in, and well, maybe I could just show you, right? I'm going to come over here, my password, I put it in, I submit, my name's at the top, the number of cookies that I have is loaded in from the database, the number of cookies per second is loaded in from the database, the number of cursors I own is loaded in, the number of grandmas I own, the number of farms I own, and so on, right? So yeah, and then if I go here and I just like purchase a bunch more cursors, 47 cursors, I could save. And if I save, and then maybe I can log out, and then I'll log back in, 47 cursors are loaded in from the database, right, along with the current number of cookies and the current cookies per second. So that's what we want to get to. And so the first step to doing that is to add the save button, okay? And the save button is a form, right? So just like we added a form here so that someone could log in, every button in a website is a form. So when you're on Facebook and you have the click add a comment button and you click it, that's a form. When you click the add friend button, it's a form, right? So every button in a website is a form. So what's the difference between this form and this one, right? Well, this one, the input fields, these guys here and here, are hidden. Okay, so they're not shown to the user. But here they're not hidden, right? Here we have one form, two input boxes, and a submit button, right? This is one form. I come over here, and this is a form with hidden inputs, so inputs that are not shown to the user. And then here is another form with hidden inputs, right? And with this reset button. So yeah, so then when we're over in our website here, we need to add a save button. We'll work on the reset later, but for now we're going to work on the save. And in order to do that, we need to add a form below the cookies per second div box. So you're going to look. You can find it right here. Here's cookies per second, and right below it we're going to add a form. So let me come over here, and maybe I could just copy this code, make it a little easier for us, and I will paste that in. So here I have the beginning of a form, and to remind you, the action up here means which PHP file is going to run when I hit the submit button of this form. The method post means how is the data from the form going to be sent to this PHP file, and since we have it set as post, the data is going to be inserted into an array called post, and then this file here will have the data to work with, right? And then here on the end I have some classes defined so that I can make my form look nice and pretty. Okay, I made it 6 columns because I want half of this 4-column div box, I want half of it to be for the save button, and then later I'm going to put a reset button right after it, and I'm going to make him 6 columns as well. Okay, so then it'll be half and half of this 4-column div box. And that's about it, man. We'll come over here and we'll save, we'll refresh. We don't see any changes because we still need to continue working on that form.